Hello, and welcome to what is becoming my favorite time of the week, another Tuesday night, which means another episode of Pickle Juice. I'm your boy Zook, and you know what we do here on Tuesday nights? We cover the greatest sport in the world, the fastest growing sport in the country. That is pickleball, sweeping the nation. It's a fever that is extremely contagious and people can't get enough of. Super excited tonight. We're going to be joined by two fantastic guests. Not only two fantastic guests, and not even doubles partners, relationship partners in life. So we'll get into a little bit their interaction on the court, their interaction off the court, how they met, and all the juicy details about the family that you may not get to know just by watching them dominate the tournaments over the weekends. But without any further ado, I'm super excited to be joined by my two new friends, Megan and Ryler DeHeart. Megan, Ryler, how you guys doing tonight?
Hello.
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. So we'll get to pickleball. But you know, I've been talking to a lot of pros, and I've had the chance to talk about the game, talk about the experiences. I've yet to dive deep into a couple's relationship who both play the game, and how, you know, a two-way relationship becomes a three-way relationship when you have two pros such as yourself that love the game. So can we start with that? Can we start with some not too personal but personal stuff, and then make our way to pickleball? How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Good.
All right.
I thought she was going in for the kiss.
I would have clipped that like a kiss cam. Let's go back to the basics. The origin story, the story that I'm sure Ryler may have told at your wedding when he was, you know, crying and shedding a tear. How'd you guys meet?
So we both played at the University of Illinois. We played tennis there. I had come over from Germany, recruited to play, and Ryler had just graduated from Illinois, used champagne as his base, and all of a sudden he started showing up at a lot of women's tennis matches, and I'm like, who's this guy? I mean, like, why is he watching
women's tennis?
I was like, who's this guy? Like, why would he be watching women's tennis? And we ended up on a double date with my roommate, who did not want to go on this date with this guy, and was like, Megan, you got to come with me. Like, I'm not going by myself. I'm like, there's no chance I'm going to be a third wheel. He's got to bring a friend. And the friend ended up being Ryler, and we just hit off and started
beer
dating.
And pool.
Yeah. We're very competitive. Okay.
Ryler, Megan says you hit it off right away. Pretend Megan has earmuffs on. What were your first impressions of this lovely young lady when you walked in for some beer and pool?
Well, I mean, I had seen her play tennis before, so I'd watched her play. I was impressed with her tennis game, but like more so even her feistiness. She was a super feisty competitor, so I liked watching her. She played number one, so she was kind of like on the stage. So I was always kind of like, oh, who's this chick, you know? And then yeah, I mean, the first thing I said, which is probably what she gets all the time, is like, where's your accent from? It's such a weird accent.
I was going to ask that as well, but I've learned like
that was like my first.
You don't want to ask that because it's not an accent.
Right.
So
that was like my first pickup line, and it went over pretty well. and then she was like, "Yeah, I'm from Germany." I was like, "Well, it's not a German accent, so how does that work?" And then she was like,
Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only Ted I see. Nope, I'm from Germany, actually.
Yeah, no, I should have done that
Nice.
one. That's a good one. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So you guys meet, you hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
Not the genesis of the relationship being tennis, but you both did play tennis or was involved in tennis. So walk me through the relationship up to the discovery of pickleball.
Yeah, so basically Ryler was playing on the pro tour while we started dating. So it was a long distance relationship.
Is this before or after he shook hands across the net with Rafael Nadal?
Right, exactly.
After, yeah.
This was after.
Yeah.
I actually remember watching him on TV for this
Wow,
match.
that's so
and
cool.
I watched his pre-match interview, and I was like, gosh, this guy's kind of funny. Like, I wonder if I'd ever meet him. Like, he's an alumni. Maybe he'll come into town. Like, he's funny, you know. Like, I remember watching his match in my apartment with my teammates and everything, and literally it was a couple weeks after that I met him for the first time because he got injured. He had surgery for his shoulder, and that put him out for about 5-6 months, and put him on campus with us. So that it actually did allow me the chance to get to meet him.
So a fortunate injury, some would say.
Yes.
So about how long of tennis before the pickleball would you say?
Yeah, so literally, if you would have told us March last year that we would be playing pro pickleball this year, we would be laughing in your face.
Wow,
Like,
so we're talking recent.
That story was her basically like we were dating like her senior year, right?
Yeah.
That's when we started dating, and then I played probably another 2 years
Of pro tennis.
Yeah. So she was traveling with me. Then I stopped playing on tour, and we started a junior academy back in Florida. Did that for like a year and a half or so. Then I went into college coaching. I was assistant coach at Alabama for 4 seasons, then Florida State for 3 seasons. Then I was a national coach at USTA, and this was all pre-COVID and pre-pickleball. And I had tried playing pickleball a few times, but like I was like, what is this? I didn't even come to the net. I was just like hitting ground strokes. I had no idea, how to play or whatever. But I was introduced to it. And then probably about a year and a half ago, we started kind of messing around. The first time we really hit was like on our driveway. We made like this tiny court on our driveway in Orlando. And we were like, because we saw it on TV, and we were like, let's try this out, It
was during lockdown.
Yeah, we were like so bored,
right?
Same as everyone else. And then we were like, this is kind of fun. And then we like played more on a real court, and we could like hang with people that were like supposedly decent level. We were like, well, we can like play at like a 4-0 kind of 4-5 level. And then we played a tournament in Orlando. We won like a 4-5,
mm-hmm.
and then we just kind of kept moving up. And now we're trying to play pro, and feel like we're in there at least. There's so many good players now, but
yeah,
we're trying to get better, and we're in the hunt, and we're still trying to get rid of our tennis tendencies. Trying to be more.
It's great watching you guys play, but I want to follow up with that. Then, is it the fact that you had a natural inclination and you were just good at the game? Like, is that what kind of changed it from the first time you played to actually picking it up? Because I'm very interested in someone who now has taken it to the point you have. A lot of times the story is, hey, the first time I tried it, I fell in love with it. But Ryler, you seem to have that, hey, I tried it not right away, came back to it, and then something clicked. So what was that?
Yeah, I mean.
So one of the factors for us was that we moved to a new location. So we moved to St. Pete, and someone was like, and we were looking to meet people. So we had certain people that we had from like previous friends and everything. But we were looking to get to know more people in this area, and we were like, well, why don't you go play pickleball? And we're like, no, only old people play pickleball. We're looking for people in our age. They were like, no, like there's this one club close by, like there's all sorts of families that play, and why don't you guys check it out? And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, we'll check it out. And little did we know, we show up at this club, and there's a husband-wife playing, very similar to our age, and they had a son. And of course, we have 2 little kids, and we were like, wait, like, do you guys want to play? And they were super eager to play with us, and our kids started playing. And honestly, like, thanks to them, we were like, okay, this can become something social. And our kids, who are going to jump in, they became best friends with their son, and it just took off from there. It became something Ryler and I can do together. We can compete together. The kids can interact, and we've built this amazing friendship with our friends, with these 2 people.
Are you guys too good now to make friends? That's my next question.
Well, we still play with them. And,
we still play with them. Actually, Steve, the husband there, he's been a huge component of our development in the pickleball game. He's
a good coach. He like sees the game really well. He's like a strong 5-0 player.
It's awesome.
But he's played like a lot of different sports, and he's coached, and he's kind of helped us like learn through our different stages of development. But yeah, for me, like when I first tried it, I didn't really know how to play the right way. So I think that was part of it. And then I tell people, like, I think the better you get at pickleball, the more fun it becomes, because, at first you're kind of just banging the ball around, and you're not really, playing with a plan. And then you start getting better, and then you learn how to dink a little bit more, and then the points become a little more interesting. So for me, it's like the better I got, the more fun it was, and then I wanted to play more and more and more. I think that's the same for most people, but it kind of like sucks you in,
It's
So
it's one of the most addicting things
yeah, it
I've
is.
ever experienced. Like I was saying behind the scenes to you guys before we went live, like my fiance, my God, it's like she's waking up in the middle of her sleep now since this weekend, just talking about approaching the net, dinks, what's out, what's in, don't step in the kitchen. It's
Yeah.
this unbelievable thing. And you made the comment though that 18 months ago or a year and a half ago, you would have laughed if we were sitting here today,
Yeah.
talking to you guys as professional pickleball players. At what point over that 18 months did you guys cross the threshold that you were like, let's go for this? Because I'm assuming at some point you had to make that decision, right?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I remember watching. I watched Major League Pickleball last year, and I saw like the team competitiveness, like the team environment, and I was like, that's college tennis. Like I want that again. I want that experience back, and I'm going to train, and I want to do that. Like I don't know if I can get there, but why not try? I feel like this is my time to give it a shot, and I feel like so many new players are coming into the mix, but why not me? Or why not us? And together would be so cool. And so we went in and started training. Ryler actually watched some of the pro matches in Orlando when we were there as well. And I think I remember him watching like Tyson McGuffin, and he like came over. He was like, "Man, these people are real athletes. Like
Yeah,
they're
like
good.
these guys are good. Like we were playing 4-5, and I was they were good players. But then I went over and watched the pros, and I was like, okay, like why can't that be me? Like I can play. I think I could get better and play at this level eventually. And it kind of like, it was like a second chance for us to compete. Like obviously I played pro tennis. We both played college tennis, and we're super competitive people by nature. And so once we realized like how serious, there was like a really serious level of this, and that you can actually like get sponsorships, make money, be on TV, like kind of like this is the real deal. We were like, I think we should try to go for this, and we are both in a situation right now where Megan's now coaching pickleball. I've been coaching tennis. We homeschool our kids, so we have a lot of freedom. So we're lucky that we can go play these tournaments. A lot of people that have jobs, they can't just go do that. So we're like, look, we could do this. Like, let's try to go for it. So that's kind of where it evolved to us being a little bit more serious about it.
And then come January, obviously we're fortunate enough to have a lot of the APP tournaments in our backyard. So like we had like the Punta Gorda, the Plantation, Delray, all these tournaments kind of right here. And we're like, okay, well, we don't have to pay for a flight.
Yeah,
we could drive there. We could maybe get housing. Like we can make this financially work. So why don't we try that January, let's see what happens. And we kind of hit the road running a little bit from a component of I was able to medal in singles. Ryler did really well in men's doubles. Like they got to the semis, I think back to back. I think they had a win over, was it
DJ and Adam Stone? Yeah, we
had
people that we had with Deckel and Kyle Yates, and you're like, okay, these guys are some of the best players. Like we're there. Like they're obviously better than us, but like if we keep playing and get more experience and kind of learn, some of the little nuances of the game, we can get to that level. And so that's where we're going now. I mean, we don't want to stop. I'm still coaching tennis quite a bit, so I can't play as much as Megan. But I'm getting the bug too. Like, well, I think you get out there and like losing makes you want to get better too. And I'm not someone that likes to go out and get my butt kicked. So like when I get my butt kicked, I'm like, all right, I need to start working harder, and like so that motivates me when I go out and I kind of lose to some of these people. I'm like, dang, like I need to put some more work into this, So I've been training a little bit more, and I'm trying to take it a little more seriously, and I really want to get in there and start getting better. So
you guys have, single success, you have double success of the same sex. I want to get into a little bit the mixed doubles, specifically when you guys play with each other.
Yeah. Do you want to be our coach? So we've been the last two tournaments were like 0-4. We won't talk about that.
I'm not even concerned about the record. Throw the record out the book. I'm concerned about the car rides there and the car rides back. Those are the conversations I want to get into. So Ryler, I want to ask you, what is the difference in, and then I'll pass it to Megan as well, but Ryler, what is the difference with you when you play with Megan versus legitimately any other partner in terms of
Yeah.
Maybe when the person next to you hits it into the net or hits an easy one out, what is your reaction like?
Well, that's what we were talking about is like, it's really hard. And the biggest thing that we need to work on is like, at least for me, like I definitely put more pressure on myself when I'm playing with Megan than when I play with someone else, because, you know, it's just like, you don't want to let, like when you're playing with a random partner, obviously you want to play well and you want to do well together, but like you miss a ball and it's like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, we're going to drive in separate cars out of here. We're still going to be cool, you know, whatever. But like I miss a ball and I'm just like, oh my God, like, you know, Megan's going to remember that one later. You know, it's like,
I'm going to have to have someone else test my dinner tonight before I take a bite into it, because who knows what she put in it.
Yeah, you don't want to let them down. You feel a little bit of extra pressure, but that's what I'm trying to kind of work on, is just like, we need to be a little more positive with each other. Not that we're negative. I don't think we're like negative with each other, but it's just hard. It's harder. I think mixed doubles is really hard to begin with, because for me, at least as a guy, I feel like I'm trying to take over the court and people are going behind me and I'm trying to take the middle. And I feel like I'm just working really hard out there in mixed, and then playing with your significant other adds an even more pressure component to it. So we've definitely had some good results. We've had some not so good results, but I think the bad news is we're in a little bit of a slump. The good news is we only have one place to go from here. We go up, and our marriage is intact. You know, we still love each other. Like, she still holds my hand once in a while. Like, you know, so things are pretty good on the marriage front for the most part.
Someone shows you their gold medal and you just point at your ring and smile, right? That's, that's what you do. But no, another thing that I'll go to Megan now. And before you answer that question with how you play, you obviously know Ryler better than anyone. Do you kind of sense what he's saying in terms of do you see him almost trying to take on a little bit more when he's standing next to you on your side of the court versus when you're watching him and he's with someone else?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think one of the hardest things is like we know each other so well, and like without me saying something, he knows maybe potentially what I'm thinking, or he thinks he knows what I'm thinking.
And probably that one, right?
and
I think I know what she thinks, what I think she knows what I think.
So I think that is a definite component in sometimes what's happening. And it's like, I never even thought that. Like, I think the world of him and his abilities on the court. Wow. And so like I'm trying to feed him with feed the confidence in him. And he gets very negative on himself, and because he loads this pressure on himself. And for me, it's just like, I want to have fun. Like, I want to get feisty out there. I want to give him high fives. Like, I think there's a video out there where I like gave Ryler such a high five it almost like broke his hand. Like, I was like, oh, wham!
Yeah, but it was like a pissed high five.
So I, you know, like I want to laugh, and I want to, especially like for us, like, and we got to keep reminding ourselves, it's like, we have two little kids that love watching us play. They're by our courts every time we play, and they're like, we have 4 eyes on us, and they take away from, you know, what we're doing, what we're saying, what is happening on the court, and they know, like, after a tough loss, like, we, you know, like, they give us space, and like, they're so mature for their age. I mean,
it's like, I mean, pickleball is I've played pretty much every sport, and pickleball is probably the most frustrating sport I've ever played. I can honestly say that. It really is.
Like, you know, like when you shoot a 3-pointer, it doesn't go in, it's so up. But when you're standing 2 feet from a net, you can't doink it over the net. You just want to throw the racket.
100%. I mean, I'll play pickup basketball, and, you know, I'll be throwing up shot. Okay, I missed one, whatever. Yeah. But like pickleball, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, I was top 200 in the world in tennis, and I'm missing a dink. Like, that just ticks me off, man.
Yeah, it's like, this is a wiffle ball. I used to hit this over fences when I was growing up.
Someone pegs me in the face. I'm like, geez, like, this sport just gets my blood boiling. I have to control myself because I get like amped up. So the biggest thing for me is like, I have to find the balance between, like, you know, like being aggressive, being pumped up, but not getting like super pissed off, basically. And so I'm always kind of trying to find that balance, and it's hard in pickleball. But I've never had to deal with it like that in any sport. Really, it was easier in tennis than pickleball, and then playing mixed doubles with Megan adds a little bit more pressure. And but it's good. Like, it's good for me. This is all really good. I like it. That's why I play. You know, that's why I play the game, and why I play singles too. I mean, that's a whole other topic altogether. But singles is just like, talk about embracing the suck and just going out there and fighting. Like, man, singles really shows you what you're made of.
Oh yeah, I have a doubles partner. just one of my buddies that we play at the local court. And when my head gets too big and I start talking about that I'm the reason we win, he takes everyone else off the court. We play singles, and I've never gotten more than 2 points off him.
Yeah.
So I agree with you that it's just like
He puts it
a
back in your
completely
bed.
different beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that you guys kind of delved into it. And we're bouncing around the topic, so I'll kind of just come out and ask it. Like, what is pickleball to you guys, and how are you using pickleball? Like, you're both don't worry about the light if she's in there
Okay.
getting something. It's fine for now. So what is pickleball to you guys so you guys are top players, right? But you also got into it, with a coaching background. Megan's still, coaching pickleball, you just said. You have kids who play the game, so I'm not a parent, but obviously as parents, I'm assuming, like, I just know you're invested in them doing better than you guys yourself. So, like, as this thing grows and as it expands over the next 12, over the next 24, over the next 36, like, where do Megan and Ryler actually fit in this expanding ecosystem if you had to tone it down to a specific niche here or there?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think, we're just along for the ride. I mean, like, I think for right now, we're just kind of constantly just embracing this opportunity. I think we don't know, what the next 6 months brings. We don't know. I think especially the COVID time has taught us that as a family. Like, COVID shook us, especially because during COVID, Ryler's job with Team USA was kind of, taken away from him. And we're like, okay, we're done moving for a job. We're moving to a place that we want to live at, and then we're going to figure life out, and we're going to take it one day at a time. And that's kind of how we live our life. We kind of, some people ask us, oh, what are you guys doing in October? And we're like, wait, it's September 6th. We don't know what we're doing tomorrow. So
we don't have like a big plan where, and, I used to be kind of like climbing that ladder of like college tennis and what's the next job. And, after a while, I was like, when I got laid off, I had a great job and I got laid off, and it was like kind of devastating at the time. But then, like, looking back on it now, it's like the best thing that could happen to me, because now we have so much freedom, and now I'm kind of done chasing that thing. I just want to like enjoy my kids, enjoy the stuff that we're doing. Our pickleball adventures have been really fun, frustrating at times, but fun. Like, at the end of the day, we enjoy it. And the kids get to come along with us. So it's been like a really great experience for our whole family, and we love it. I mean, everything is going well. As far as like pickleball goes, I feel like it's going to get a lot more competitive. I think, tennis players that aren't going to make it on the tennis tour are going to start coming over, and they're going to start, they're going to be a lot of good players, especially in singles. I think it's going to be harder for them to jump in and be really good at doubles right away, because it's more dinking and volleying and stuff. And a lot of the younger kids haven't grown up doing that in tennis as much. But I do think that it's going to get a lot more competitive, but at the same time, it's going to keep growing financially. And I feel like we're still going to be able to be in the mix, or we're going to try to keep battling and trying to get better as well. So we definitely see ourselves staying in there and keep trying to pursue this dream, the pickleball dream.
So always playing, no matter what, you think, in some way, shape, or form.
I think so. And I personally, when I go to an event, I like to play. I don't want to travel far and just play like one or two events. Like, I'm there. Like, I want to play singles. I want to play it all. I don't get to play as much too as a lot of people. So like, when I go to a tournament, I want to play all the events. I want to like really compete and feel like I'm doing it all. And then our kids, like, I mean, it's fun. It's really fun for them, and it's been awesome. But at the same time, I do want them to, keep working hard at it. And one day, like, it would be an unbelievable dream. Like, if we could play doubles and mixed doubles with them, would be like the coolest thing ever, like and maybe it's not going to happen until we're playing like split age and stuff, but whatever. I mean, as long as we're in there together playing doubles with our kids and we can all play together, I think that would be like really cool.
So Ryler DeHeart and LeBron James, the two GOATs that said they won't retire until their kids come into the league.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm not retiring until I'm playing mixed doubles with my daughter and doubles with my son. And yeah, that'd be really cool.
You keep bringing up the kids, and is that what experiencing it with that, is that what kind of allows you to not let this turn into some of those things that you said you went through, Ryler, when you were going through tennis? Or even Michelle, you kind of see Ryler not allowing it to turn into that? Because you were saying, with that chase of tennis, always, wanting to be the best, climbing the ladder. But you seem to have no worries that pickleball is ever going to turn into that. No, regardless of how much you said you keep getting that itch, is it really just the kids?
So it's funny because I think sometimes the kids help us get balanced, right? I mean, they allow us, or they remind us of the big picture. Like, they remind us when we get off the court, as upset we might be about a loss, or like how much we invested ourselves, like we laid it on the line, like all these things, but we're still their mom and dad, like we have not changed in their eyes one bit. Like, we come off the court and they just give us a hug and they're like, when's the next match, or what are we having for lunch? I mean, it's like, that helps.
Well, yeah,
us.
for me, like if I have a bad loss, I just go out and hit with the kids, and that like makes me like feel, I'm like, who cares? Like, I lost, but like, let's go hit with the kids, So I always do that at tournaments, and that helps me a lot. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, you got to put things in perspective. At the end of the day, it's like you lost a pickleball match. It's frustrating, but having our kids around and having it be like a family thing, I think makes it a lot more enjoyable, at least for me. So,
they sting though I assume when you're walking off the court though, right? But then,
yeah, of course. Nobody likes to lose. Like, super competitive.
Oh yeah, it stings.
And singles is brutal because you're by yourself and you're just like.
And our kids know, like, and they even tonight at dinner, JR goes, so that Zane guy, right? You guys know Zane? I'm like, yeah, I know Zane. He was like, he's got a really good serve. And I'm like, yeah, he's got a really good serve. You're like, remember when he went up 6-0 against Daddy? I'm just like, I remember. He was like, his serve is so hard to return. Like, I was like, so they bring
he wanted to get a picture with JW, and he's like, JW never loses. I'm like, no, he loses. He doesn't lose much, but he does lose.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite player? Do you have a favorite player on tour?
Who's your favorite player?
Who's your favorite player?
Mommy, right?
Oh, okay. How do you feel about that, Dad?
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Do they have I was chopping it up behind the scenes, and I even messaged you over the weekend, Megan, when they were talking about your kids on the live stream. Do a lot of the players now, because you're bringing them around, know your kids, hit around with your kids and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like,
they're super nice with the kids. We love that.
Yeah, like all the players, and even like a lot of the workers that work for the APP tour, like Dana, she'll like give them a high five walking by. Like, people just know them, and oftentimes like at the there's open play in the evenings, especially during the Chicago Open. They're we're all playing pickup games and trying to get better, or getting to know our new partners for the weekend. And the kids were battling on a court in singles, and they were like going at it, and everybody was like watching them, and they were like, who are these two? And like, oh, they're just our kids, don't worry. And they're like grunting away and battling with each other. So
they like to play single.
Yeah, they like playing singles. But they've had a phenomenal experience with other players. I know Christian Keenum is one of them that they just love, and whenever they see him, they run up to him and give him big hugs. And Fad, actually, they were giving Fad and his wife some rides in New York on this go-kart. They just, I think everybody kind of knows who they are now. My kids are getting less and less shy around them and opening up a bit more. And while I want them to always be respectful, I want them to feel comfortable in that environment and learn from and get to know
and they're
more
learning
people.
the game. Like, they know how to keep score, and now they like to watch more because they understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to watch them grow and get better, and it's been fun.
My fiance is still trying. She still doesn't get the third digit of the score, and I'm like, 2-1. What? She's like, what are you saying 3 numbers for? I just don't get it. So the fact that they're able to pick it up that quickly is super exciting. But they is it something that took much time for them to want to get into, or was it an easy enough sell? They saw mommy and daddy playing and they picked up a paddle and just wanted to be like you guys?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just that we were playing, and the amazing thing about pickleball is that it's so accessible and it's so easy to pick up because it's not as technical. They did start with tennis, so they do play tennis as well. And so they play with the quick start rackets and the red ball and the shortened courts in tennis as well. So we still want them to continue to that development. Then they play basketball as well, so they have fun.
We want them to just play a bunch of sports.
But whenever we're training on the pickleball court, they're normally out there with their paddles as well. Gamma sent them some junior Gamma paddles, so they have an awesome time with that. And they just battle. I mean, like we don't ask them, like we never tell them, hey, it's time to play pickleball. It's time to do drills. Like we just don't do that at all. We just like, go out there, have some fun, maybe get some dinks in a row. We did put ice cream on the line for 200 dinks in a row, and they crushed. They just goes. So
yeah, they got 200 dinks in a row, so they got some McFlurries.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, not a parent, but was a kid, and just know growing up that the sports that my parents kind of made me go out there and do, I maybe wasn't too much loving, but then the ones that I kind of just picked up on my own, it was like, Dad, let me go shoot some on net, like soccer and stuff like that. Those were the ones I stuck with. So I kind of get that aspect. And Megan, I'm a little embarrassed, but you beat me to it. But on my other screen, I had Gamma up and ready to go.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned them first, but we always like to give a shout out to anyone that's doing anything with any of the pros that we have on stream. We could see you guys with the shirts, Gamma Pickleball. I don't quite think we've had a sponsored athlete from them on yet. So, Megan, you want to take it away with kind of giving us the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, Gamma has been phenomenal for us. They took a risk on us back in December where we hadn't even started playing pro yet. Jen Griffin, she actually plays locally to us. She's the pro team manager. And she was like, she played with us a couple times, and I guess she realized our potential, and she was like, hey, like we'd love to support you guys. Are you guys thinking about playing some pro events? And we're like, yeah, actually, we'd love to play some pro tournaments starting January. And we're like, okay, let's get you some support. And we're like, wow, okay, let's go. And they offered us a phenomenal contract in our eyes. Like not that I had much to compare to, but it really was that was exactly what we needed to kind of get us started, and they've been nothing but amazing. We love their paddles. We started with that. We started with the Babolat's back because that's what we played with in tennis. Little did we know about the paddles. We were just like, oh yeah, I use the tennis racket, Babolat. Let's go to the paddle now. And as soon as we kind of switched over to Gamma, I got the extended handle, especially for my two-handed backhand that I had from tennis. Now I can finally use it in pickleball as well. So I was super excited about that. So yeah, I used the 405 and trying to get Ryler switched over from the shard that he uses. But he's very he doesn't like change. So he doesn't like change.
I'm not a tweaker.
He's not a tweaker. So
if I find something I like, I just stick with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for singles, it's been a little bit challenging playing with that paddle just because it's not really it's more of a doubles like control. It has more control and doesn't have a lot of grit. So I'm out there getting passed left and right by these carbon losers. No, I'm just kidding.
Battle of the brands, right?
Yeah.
When are we going to get a DeHeart paddle? I see a Riley Newman.
Yeah, maybe one day. I got to keep getting better,
I know. It would be fun.
No, I don't think we're too far away, but Ryler, Megan kind of mentioned it herself, but she said you guys need it was the perfect thing at the perfect time. You being on another professional circuit and kind of understanding how that works. Was this almost a eureka moment for you, being like, hey, stuff like this was happening on the tennis tour with people getting sponsored and stuff like that? Now it's also happening in this game where, wow, something I thought was a hobby and maybe we take a chance on is suddenly now showing me, what it could actually be.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's very different though, because in tennis, I was sponsored as a junior player in tennis. Actually, my first sponsor was Procanics, and they kind of just give you equipment. There's not a lot of financial support until you become a big time player. and sign contracts with them. Even when Ryler was
I was
top 200 in the world.
Never got any financial
Wow.
thing from any company. I only got free product.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have a company that actually wanted to support us financially and help us get to tournaments and help us with entry fees and all that kind of stuff was like, I was like, that's amazing. I mean, gosh, I could have used that in tennis. So I was super thrilled about that. And just to be a part of like a family, I feel like Gamma really treats us like, they have team dinners at the tournaments.
That's awesome.
They're always like keeping tabs on us and making sure we have everything we need. Like they've been super helpful, awesome with us. I never had that experience on the tennis tour. So just to be able to have that in a new sport was like, I was actually shocked. I mean, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, and like they sent us they sent a box for the kids, like with their own paddles.
So they're smart.
And they were, it's just so sweet, it's so thoughtful. And then last week, even, before our trip for Chicago, they sent us some coloring sheets.
Wow.
I should probably get them from somewhere, but they are of us two playing. And they made them coloring sheets for the kids to have, and
it was adorable.
Just things. But, just the thoughtfulness. Like I definitely don't take that for granted. And I don't know what other teams are like, because obviously this is the first company that we've ever been with, and we feel so appreciative of what they've done for us and continue to support us and develop with us. It's really been fun ride because of them.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voices, not that you sound in debt to Gamma, but so appreciative of the fact that like you understand the importance of, it's tough for people even on the pro side to like get to all these tournaments, to pay for all these tournaments, to travel for all these tournaments. So we
wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for that.
So to have these
our entry
that parlays, right? Because the more tournaments you get, the more points you get, the more you're on center court, the more sponsors that come out. So to see like you guys really understand how like important that Gamma really was to your whole story.
For us just to play, like for us to both play a tournament, where just the entry fee alone for us to play the 3 events is almost $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, I mean, it's crazy. So, and that's not even like getting there, like if you have to fly there, you have to stay in a hotel, you have all these expenses. And if we want to bring our kids, I mean, you're looking at thousands of dollars each event. So like we couldn't do that without Gamma.
Yeah.
So we're super indebted to them. And we're very loyal people. Like, when we see something we like, I'm the same, like that's why it's hard for me to change paddles. So
same, yeah, I'm like you as well. I had to get out of my Jeep, and I totaled my Jeep, and I had to get a Hyundai, and I've been driving Jeep for like 10 years. And it was one of like the worst days of my life. I'm like you, loyal, especially when it comes to like brands, like loyal.
So you went from a Wrangler to a Hyundai?
I went from a Wrangler to a Grand Cherokee to a Hyundai. But you got to remember, this car market right now, Ryler. This is the first time I'm 28, so the last car I bought, I think my Grand Cherokee, my dad was mostly involved with buying me that one. So I had to walk in for the first time to a store in this market, and I don't know if I got rooked, and I don't know if the guy was playing it up, but he's like, "This is the only one we have on the lot. Take it or leave it." I'm like sold, and I probably paid a little bit more than I should have, but now I'm driving around a nice, beautiful, safe Hyundai Tucson, which
there you go.
It's not like this, like some people were driving around this weekend at Chicago, right? But it gets me from point A to B.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Talking about Chicago, talking about the APP, you guys mentioned the MLP as well. We brought up the PPA also. We won't go into the past because I know Ryler might have said it's a little bit of a drought. But what's next for Team DeHeart? And we'll start with you, Megan. Even just if you are playing singles or doubles, but I think Ryler said whenever you guys go to a weekend, you play them all. So what are the next few weekends looking up for you guys?
Yeah, we are heading to Atlanta actually tomorrow. It's been a quick turnaround. We got back late last night, had today to train and kind of do laundry and reset a little bit. And then we head to Atlanta APP tomorrow, and then we start our journey through that, and we'll stay in Atlanta for the Peachtree, the PPA as well. So we're looking forward to kind of being in one place, even though it's in Atlanta, and kind of taking it to him there. So we're excited. Singles Thursday,
Yeah.
mix on Friday, doubles on Saturday.
Yep.
Mixed, are you playing together?
We are, yeah.
And who are you guys playing?
You know, I actually played
normally?
my first time not playing with Ryler was the Philly Open.
Really?
Yeah, that was my first time not playing with Ryler.
Wow.
He chose not to go.
Yeah.
And
so
Did you like what you saw?
so I played with Stefan.
another lefty too. It's like a slap in the
Yeah,
face.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's like a kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
But I had a really fun time, but it definitely felt odd, you know, like I didn't have my kids there. I didn't have Ryler with me battling by my side, as Stefan was phenomenal. He was such a sweet guy. But yeah, it was just, you know, I was like, okay, let's adjust to this. That's new personality. Let me learn from him, which was kind of cool, and took some things away for us to work on that worked with me and Stefan. And so I'm actually going to play a couple more tournaments with other players. I was supposed to play with Federico in New Jersey, but I unfortunately came down with COVID, so I had to pull out of that one. But I am playing with John Sincola in Houston, and then obviously MLP. I've been playing with different male partners too, so which has been super fun. I actually got to play with Rob Cassidy in the last two events, another lefty, and so a lot of leftiness happening, and so. Which was super fun. Rob is such an awesome guy, so positive and like amazing hands. So I really enjoyed playing with him too. And now moving forward, I will either play with Daniel De La Rosa or with Gabe Tardio.
Wow.
I mean, talk about talent level. It's like, whew. I'm excited for that too. So.
Did they come out with the seeds yet for Atlanta? I'm on the site and I don't think.
Oh, who's entered?
Well, I don't even know. Did they come out with the draw yet for the weekend of who's playing who or not yet?
No, that's usually not until the night before. The teams that are entered should be on there, but
who are you
a lot of
playing with on the same sex side?
Well, it's interesting because the PPA is going on at the same time. So the Cincinnati PPA is the same weekend as this Atlanta APP. So there's kind of like that clash, seeing who chooses what and who's loyal to what. So I did notice a couple of different names not playing the APP and shifting over to the PPA. So yeah, I was actually just texting with Millie, who I'm going to be playing women's doubles with.
That's awesome.
And we were going through the different teams and just sharing some notes on things that we feel like will be crucial for us to kind of work on or adjust to, and how we can play together. But yeah, it was. It's going to be a fun weekend.
The last question I'll ask you guys, and I can kind of tell by you guys have like this great. We're just freaking having the time of our lives with our kids, and we love this game. But I gotta ask, because this week is kind of the perfect microcosm with the PPA and APP. Any feelings on the Tour Wars? Any thoughts as to how this ends, or how you would like to see it end, or even any general feelings about, the fact that it seems like there's three major ones that seem to kind of be going at it right now?
Yeah, it's in all honesty, like when we talk to our friends who have no clue about pickleball and we try to explain this, like this two tour battle, and then there's MLP, and they're like, what? Like, what is going on? And they were like, well, you can't like that, right? I mean, there seems like a lot of tension. And I'm just like, honestly, for a player, it's phenomenal. Like, we as players will only benefit from this, because they will always want to one up each other. Like, no, we have the most prize money. No, we create the best atmosphere. We have the best center courts. We have the best PR. We get the most fans. And who benefits from this is us as players, us as people going to these events, these tournaments, because they're just going to keep getting better, and they're competing with each other for that best spot. I don't know what's going to happen. We're so new to the sport. We don't know the background, the history, which sometimes is a good thing, because I think there is a lot of history and a lot of like things that have happened. For us, we get a kind of a clean slate a little bit, while we have become friends with Steve Kuhn in Austin, who's just a phenomenal guy. I mean, just incredible for pickleball, but also just incredible as a person.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Just an amazing guy. So obviously we would love to support him and his vision for MLP, especially because we're both big advocates for the team atmosphere. Like, why can't we be a team sport like an NBA or an NFL. Like, why can't that be us? You know, why can't we do what lacrosse does? You know, like go to one place, each city, have all the teams come there, compete there as a team with each other. You know, I would love that, especially from a component, even as a junior player coming in. I would love for my kids to be in a team environment rather than be an individual sport that we went through as junior tennis players. So we don't have to be tennis. Pickleball isn't tennis. We don't need to be tennis. Like, why not be different? So I'm kind of excited to see where MLP goes with this.
I think it can be a balance, like anything. And yeah, if they want to keep competing and put more money and resources into everything, I'm all for that. Keep the arms race going, guys.
Yeah, it's you basically both hit the nail right on the head. Like, for the players, for people that are watching, for fans, like the arms race that is happening between the leagues, like they have to do exactly what you said: offer better facilities, offer a better show, offer a better stream, offer more money. So, going up the way they're going to compete is to make themselves more attractive to everyone else, you guys being the professionals, me being the fans. So in terms of, having the personality that you guys are undertaking, which is just sit back, experience it, and have fun, almost fits perfectly for what's going on, because then you just kind of get to reap the benefits. If there's multiple tours going on, you see how it fits exactly with your family on that given weekend, how it fits in, what the prize pool is. Could you maybe win one at the other, or maybe you don't win too much more at one and the travel is less at another. And it can really fit the lifestyle and how you guys are fitting pickleball in with the rest of your family life quite perfectly. So really there is nothing else to do besides ride the wave like you guys currently are doing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, if people ask us, oh, which one do you guys play, APP, PPA? And we're just like, whatever's closest to us, whatever's convenient for us.
We haven't played a lot of PPAs, but that hasn't been really like by design or anything. It's just kind of been
whatever.
Because most of the PPAs are out West Coast too, so like we're kind of far. But like if we can play a PPA that's convenient, then we obviously will do that. Like you said, if it makes sense for the family and stuff. So
no, it's a beautiful thing. One thing I love about this sport is because it's so new. Well, maybe in 10 years, it's the cycle of, people are playing pickleball as they grow up and then they're professionals. Right now, people are getting in at different points of their lives. And you guys are just, another example of that, of, a married couple with kids now turning professional, where, most people that are turning professional, are just coming out of college and aren't dealing with like the other things and have like a singular focus. So how the different people based on different life situations are finding the way to fit in pickleball with everything else. You have some people that have sworn everything else off, competing and sometimes winning and sometimes losing against people that are in accounting school, during the day and just playing at night. And it's this beautiful thing where everyone's finding how it fits for them, but it is this everyman game where on any tournament, on every weekend, and we just saw it this weekend with the boys from Minnesota making that run as the 27 seed.
I know.
Yeah.
Anybody can beat anybody in a double elimination, one day event, and that's the thrilling part of it, right?
Yeah, which makes it so cool. I mean, like, there's no sport like it. There's nothing like pickleball. So the fact that I always joke, but we're old, like we're old pro players, and especially, but we're still newbies. So I felt like we kind of like slipped through the cracks sometimes of people not necessarily talking to us because they're like, well, have they been around for a long time? And they're like, no, like they started in January. They're like, well, are they young? Like, are they straight out of college? They're like, no, like they're old, they're family, like.
Yeah.
So we kind of we're newbies, but we're old, and we're doing it our way.
Beautiful story. People can look at you and there's a lot of people in your situation that wouldn't take on the endeavor of also trying to be a professional athlete, right? Homeschooling their kids, just even having kids. So hopefully, people watch this or not even watch this, just watch you play this weekend and hear your story and, go, wow, they're doing it. Why can't, we love this game. Why can't we? And that's not to say it doesn't also take tremendous skill, but, if you have the skill or you don't have the skill, if you don't dip your foot in or you're even willing to sacrifice a little bit or take a chance or go sign up for a tournament, you'll never find out. So what you guys are doing, hopefully it does inspire families with kids that think maybe, you know, it's a decade ago, the shelf life to become a professional athlete, if you were 24 or 25 and you hadn't made any moves, realistically 17 or 18 and you hadn't made any moves, you had no chance.
Yeah,
It's kind of changing that. And that's the beautiful thing. And
it is.
that was kind of the genesis of this whole conversation, continually bringing it back to that little one and your other one, and how they ground you. But
Sure.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
and I hope
he didn't make his appearance on screen.
Yeah,
Is he camera shy?
He was I don't know, probably watching something on his iPad.
It's
So,
coming high. There we
he
go.
is.
How you doing, buddy? Who's your favorite player on tour besides mommy and daddy?
Who's your favorite player?
Who's your
Jay?
favorite player, Jay?
Sit up.
Come on.
Sit up. Who's your favorite player?
Oh, he was so shy this weekend. Everybody, he'd asked us for such a long time. Do you think I can get a picture with J-Dub? And we're like, well, he's right there. Why don't you go take a picture with him? He's like, no, I can't go over there. And he became all shy.
It's funny because I was talking with Lee and Cassandra about this thing, and we were talking about some of the younger males on tour. And, you know, not as young as your son, obviously, but I was talking about when I was that age, right? You put me on camera, I get shy, I tense up, but, you know, you turn the camera off, those guys are probably like all riots. You know, we were talking about the Dylan Frazier's and all these young people coming up. You know, you got to remember they're still kids, and you see them playing on these center courts, and you think they're amazing, but, you know, you put a camera in front of them, and they don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know. He's not normally shy, but he's going to be shy right now.
That's all right, because you know what the fun thing about this is? I'm going to have you guys on again sometime soon. And we'll make sure the next time we put him in front of the camera and he gets a little more comfortable doing it again. But Megan Ryler, we touched on the marriage counseling. We touched on a little bit of pickleball. We touched on what you guys did next. We touched on Gamma Pickleball. People can find you Instagram, Twitter. Is there any YouTube channel or any other content that you guys are doing?
On Facebook. We do Facebook.
Yeah, just Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, so Instagram.
I do a daily reel. Check it out.
Okay, definitely. So Instagram, Twitter, check all of those out. This weekend, you guys will be in Atlanta playing. We'll definitely check it out. But Megan Ryler, I've nominated you guys as the first family of pickleball, and I think after this conversation, we can stick with it. But have some great luck this weekend. I hope you and your family have some fun, and I'll be paying attention, and I'll be reaching out again sometime soon. And can we do this again? Can I run you guys down in Penn for another night sometime soon?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Good.
That'd be great. We'd love
Beautiful. But safe travels to
Thanks for
Atlanta.
being
Like I
here.
said, we'll be watching you on stream. But have a great night, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
All right.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
Take it easy.